Mr. Monday this year. We're going to do our on-time trivia first, and this month, I love the theme, we're going to focus on the REPSI, so hopefully everybody will get the REPSI out. And
What is that?
the first question is not what to stand for. Okay. What clause on the REPSI states that the contract is complete? I'm looking for a number here.
Say it one more time.
What clause on the REPSI states that the contract is complete?
27.
I was like, that's a test question, and I think I'm the freshest to the test. I
Well,
should
you
know
should
that.
answer.
I know. Why don't I know that?
I'm looking for a number.
I heard 26.
Now?
He doesn't do REPSI.
26.
Like 17 or 18.
Nope.
20, 21.
19, 23, 24.
18. Who said 16? Go down.
14, 14. I've written like 18 of them in the last month, so I should know.
So 14 states,
That part.
complete contract. The REPSI together with its addenda, any attached exhibits and seller's disclosures constitutes the entire contract between the parties and supersedes and replaces any and all prior negotiations, representations, warranties, understanding, or contract between the parties, whether verbal or otherwise. The REPSI cannot be changed except by written agreement of the parties. Dave, did you know that?
There it is.
I'm sure he knew it. Everybody knew
That's
it.
what they wrote.
Save this for a pod.
So brush up on your REPSI for the month of February. All right, let's do some bucket filling. I'm gonna start. Oh,
Oh, well, I'm gonna start.
okay.
I don't know why I read, anyway, I got three actually. One, I had the opportunity on Friday morning to go to the top 500. My production obviously was not in the top 500, but because of you guys doing what you do, they allowed me to go. And the joke among the brokers is they allowed you to go because you have to deal with the egos. But that's not the case here. And you guys represented well, and I appreciate the opportunity to go live vicariously through you. So kudos to the top 500. Number two, the people at the awards thing at Keller Williams on Friday evening. KW Salt Lake is an incredible office, showed big. They have to keep creating awards because you guys keep blowing the lid off of the others. And so thank you for that. Again, proud to be in business with you. And three, last week, Shauna had an opportunity to interview Lee, and if you weren't here, you missed it. But I so much appreciate Lee, the experience, the old school real estate. If you guys aren't picking her brain, you're missing a huge opportunity. So kudos to Lee.
Acknowledge our award winners with the slide here in just a little bit. And I wanted to thank everyone who attended the gala. We were very well represented. We were the loudest, the rowdiest, and the most fun. And of course, our award winners, we're so proud of them. I also want to thank Mark Nicholas. Mark sits outside. Mark, are you here?
Right.
You're right here, okay. Mark sits right outside my office, and I feel like he just knows when he needs to come in and give me some good news. So thank you. I love that. We're going to be hearing from you here in just a little bit too. And also Josh Stern. I want to say thank you to Josh. Josh has been helping me in about every way. I'm leveraging him till he leaves for Alaska. So I want to say thank you to him. Who else has a bucket to fill?
I do. I want to say thanks to Lee. Appreciate your inspiration and your conversation.
Cheers.
Thanks to the staff too, by the way. You guys have been amazing. I used to have a little bout of food going around here. And I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Doesn't have an assistant at this point. I'll talk to you later. So, just want to say thanks. I appreciate being in business here.
Thank you, Brooke. It's good to be your neighbor too. Anyone else?
I'll go.
Spencer. Oh,
Spencer, go ahead. Big shout out to Mike Sheehan at Introland. I had a client who I had shared the app with, whose mom kind of went rogue, called a listing agent who showed the house and said, you need a pre-approval. She reached out to me, got her pre-approved and under contract, beating out a couple of offers. I didn't even have to show the house. Mike was en route to Las Vegas, was able to pick up the phone, answer questions, get a pre-approval that same day. So Mike's not here, he's in Las Vegas, but good shout out to him.
Pass that on. Thank you, Spencer. Dave?
I want to, first of all, shout out Corey. He gets all the love all the time. I managed to make scrambled eggs when I should be over easy, and he helps me unscramble them. So thank you for that. I also want to give some love to some folks on the team that are showing up and killing it. Whitney's over here writing her first offer. Love that. Chris is got his capping deal closing next week. Huge success over there. PJ's not here, but PJ, man, he just does the work, gets the closings, does the work, get the closings. Then I also give some love to Darren. Darren, if you haven't seen the shift in his mentality and his effort over the last 3-4 weeks, he is showing up big time these days. Sydney and Sadie are both out there working some buyers. Miguel, our new guy, and then most of Dynamic is also putting up the numbers as well. We're working on. What are you doing? Kidding. And then lastly, I want to thank Sean Erickson for hosting his listing appointment clinic or role play. I've only attended once, and it helped me out to go take another listing, just that confidence. So thank you very much, Sean, for hosting that.
I thought we were going to use one of our profane words.
If you've seen Darren shift.
Really don't want to see Derek. Thank you, Dad.
I also want to say thank you to Mike Sheehan. We did a first time home buyer seminar and our lender wasn't able to make it. And so with 24 hours notice, Mike was there, and we've been able to fast track 5 clients out of that. So,
And only 5 people showed up.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, Mike has been absolutely awesome, and we have, he's been right on top of communication with all those clients getting them pre-approved, so I really appreciate it.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. Well, Eden, will you pass that on to Mike?
I'll do it.
Please. They love it too.
That's
It's
great.
awesome.
That's
I've
great.
got a lot of good feedback.
Okay. Who else has a bucket to fill before we move on to our cultural icon? All right, Greg, I want to say thank you to you. You said the most wonderful things about this office last week, and I kept thinking that, so.
Oh, well, yay. And again, I'm just like super happy to be here. And the transition up here it's the kind of thing that I look out and I say, man plans and God laughs. And so my original plan was right after family reunion of 2020 to really hit the ground running here, and COVID. And so that slowed things down a good bit. Throughout the whole course of me trying to transition, though, there's been a person that has stayed in constant contact with me and made me feel very welcome, and has been a great assistance in trying to get things going. So Rachel Heath, please come on.
Yeah. She knows COVID really well.
Yes, she does.
Thank you so much. Oh, that means so much to me. Thank you. I'll make a speech next week.
Everybody be nice to Rachel. All right. Broker Dave, it's you.
Lynette asked me earlier, she goes, do you have something planned? Never. I do want to piggyback a little bit on the top 500 thing. For those that were there, I think you got a great gift in listening to Robert O'Neill. For those of you who were not there, Robert O'Neill was the one that is credited with taking down bin Laden in SEAL Team 6. And so he was talking not necessarily about that particular mission they had, but more what it took him to get there. He talked about the training when you go into Navy. Do we have veterans here? Okay, thank you. And by the way, I don't see KW on your pants or your shoes. Anyway.
Step it up.
Get it together with you. But he's talking about the training you go through when you go into the military, and then taking the next step and becoming a member of the SEAL team, and then the further step to go to SEAL Team 6. And a lot of the things that he's talking about is more repetition, you know, and questioning yourself and the things that you do. I mean, walking in when you breach a building, you take one step in and up, down, you know, and exactly, and they're constantly, all of the supervisors, my corporate America or what, commanders are just saying, what are you doing there, O'Neill, you know, and make you question and all that. And the whole thought process is to get certain things done out of reflex. So when the mission is really there, it's reflex, and you can concentrate on what's going on at the moment. Last week, Lee was talking about, you know, you're going out and practicing listing presentations in front of a real buyer, when you should probably be making the listing presentation part of your reflex through script practice and all that. But anyway, Robert O'Neill, real life stuff, talking about going in. One of the things that they do is in one mission, he recalled, they take you in a pool of cold water, roughly 15 feet deep. About 18 inches off the bottom of the pool is a rope spanning the end of the pool. And the exercise is you take a 18-inch piece of rope and you tread water for a minute. The guy tells you what kind of knot to tie. You go down to the bottom of the pool, tie this knot, the little piece of rope, onto the big rope that's spanning, and you go like this and wait for him to finish his morning coffee or whatever and come down and check the knot, make sure it's correct. If it's correct, he says, go on up. You go back up, you're allowed one breath. And then you go down and do it again with a different knot that you were told during that one breath. And the exercise is to tie 5 knots with one breath in between. And he recalled this one that his buddy was in there, that he was on the 5th knot, and he's down there and he's working on it. All of a sudden it goes like this. Well, it's not like that. He went like this. The guy had drowned. So the commander gets up there and dives in. He's got the snorkel and everything, pulls him back up to the top, puts him on the side, calls for medic. Medics are not near, so he has to start doing CPR. After a couple minutes, he's pretty much dead. He thought he's gone. After a couple minutes, the guy coughs up the water and starts choking and everything. And he's like, oh, you know, it would have really hurt if I would have killed one of my people. And the first thing out of this guy's mouth, once he's finished coughing, is, did I pass? And he's like, wow, geez, you know, and he goes, no, seriously, did I pass?
No.
And he goes, okay, let me just explain something here. The exercise was not seeing if you could tie knots. The exercise was to see how committed you are to completing the exercise. So the thing that I got out of that is, in our world, understand what it is we're here to do and internalize that first. Don't necessarily be really good at the little things that you do along the way, but what's the overall mission? Listen to Steve Jobs this morning. He was talking about the whole basis of Apple, and the reason Apple took off like it did was they started off with the concept of the customer experience. When we create whatever it is we're going to create, what is the customer's experience going to be? And then work backwards to develop what it is you do. That's what script practice is. That's what all of the reading the millionaire real estate agent is. That's what all of the stuff that we do on a daily basis, and 8 o'clock meetings, 9 o'clock meetings, 10 o'clock, is make you understand what the end result is, give you the ability to do all of the tasks. So when you're actually there in front of the listing, it's reflex and you can concentrate on them. And that's what this is about, the customer experience.
Just making sure it's my turn. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Man, that's the best feeling, second best feeling on the planet. Hey, so thank you, Broker Day. You know, as I was sharing that story about the underwater knot tying, this phrase popped into my head that in this business, some of us tie knots and some of us end up as frayed knots. You still in real estate? Afraid not, market sucked. Hey, you still in real estate? Afraid not, it just wasn't the right time. You still in real estate? Afraid not, I didn't want to show up and go to work. So, I don't know, that just popped into my head. What I want to talk about is something completely different. Raise your hand if you like fun. Raise your hand if you like feeling good. Fantastic. What is fun and feels good in this business?
Closing.
Getting paid, going to closings, getting signatures. I was in a one-on-one the other week with Marissa Kelly. Do you guys know Marissa? Raise your hand, she's fantastic. And she said, I said, what was your biggest win this week? What was the thing you realized? And she said, you know what? Doing business feels really good. Like connecting with people feels amazing. Getting those signatures is just awesome, right? Like I said, Sean helped me take a listing. I just took a listing last night. And I was driving home just like, why do I feel like I just did drugs that I don't even believe in doing? And I was like, oh yeah, because this is what it's all about. This is fun, right? This is what we do. What doesn't feel good in this business or business adjacent?
Lead gen.
Maybe. Stressing about money doesn't feel good, does it? Okay. Having that anxiety if I don't dare to pick up the phone and talk to people, that doesn't feel good, does it? Right? Having to go get an application at Home Depot, that probably doesn't feel very good at all. And so the trick is, and the challenge that I have for you, today I'm asking more questions and giving answers, is what can you add to your business? And who did I ask already? I think I asked Paul this morning. What can you do to add a little bit more fun to your week? How can you have more fun doing a job that you all worked really, really hard to get? Nobody just shows up and they give you the license, right? So what can you do to add a little bit more fun? I have a suggestion. Anybody got a suggestion? Maybe instead of lead genning by yourself in a dark closet, grab a partner, okay? Maybe show up tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock when I'm gonna be in this room along with some other folks who are trying to build their business, do some lead generation in a group, okay? Instead of talking about units or deals or dollars, talk about families helped or smiles that you get to have, or high fives you get to share, right? How can you put more fun in your business? Because I don't know about anybody else. I got into this business for two reasons. One, I don't like to work all that hard. And second, I like to enjoy what I do. And when you pick up a few of the little things like Dave was talking about, right? Enter a room, up, down, left, right, clear. You don't have to worry about the guy behind you doing their job or the person in front of you doing theirs. You just do your thing, and man, it's a whole lot of fun. My guess is if you were to ask that Navy SEAL, what was his name? Robert O'Neill. Robert O'Neill. I bet he loves his job about as much as anybody can love their job, right? And in his job, if you have a bad day, people die. In this job, if you have a bad day, you just have a whole lot of freight on. So anyway, thank you for being here. I wrapped that up pretty good, didn't I? Thanks for the laugh. Thank you for being here. As always, it's a pleasure to be here.
That was very witty. All right,
I swear.
before we move on to 2022, we want to acknowledge all of our award winners. If you are here, we're one of our award winners. Friday, will you stand up, please, so we can give you a big round of applause. Thank you. All right. And our top, I'll just go on, I'll talk about our top 500 for just a minute. We have 23 days in the top 500 in this office, correct? Which is more than any office anywhere. Really? Individual office, yeah. All right, Mike, do you want to come up?
Yep.
And stay up for training calendar and your recording.
Yep, so, good morning, we'll be right after this. The link was sent out yesterday in the end of day email. So tomorrow we got Smart Plans, 11 to noon. That is on Zoom with Scott Leroy Marketing, and then 1 to 2 listings with Sean. Is Sean in here?
Yep.
Yeah. Sean, help me understand this. If people don't know what that's about, what is that?
Just simple, just come in, practice your listen presentation. It's not a class I'm teaching. It's, Dave and Mark and I did one a couple weeks ago. They practiced against each other, not against each other, but with one another. And just what did you do good? What did you do bad? I mean, what can you clean up, and just learn what you're doing here, so you're not learning it out there and costing yourself $15,000 in commissions.
Yep, taking batting practice versus real game, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Thursday, 11 to noon, what's new with Command, that'll be with Scott Leroy Marketing on Zoom. And then real estate fundamentals at that same point in time, that'll be live, and either one of the days is doing it.
It's a day in the, day in the
Today
life.
in life, that's gonna be me. We're gonna talk about what unsuccessful realtors do, and then we're gonna talk about what successful realtors do.
Awesome. Cool. And then on Friday, 12 to 1, do a associate class with Delaney.
That might be, you might need to choose that to Zoom.
Okay. Looks like it'll be Zoom. And then next Monday, DocuSign overview with Scott Leroy marketing. That'll be on Zoom. Miracle Morning. Yeah, we're gonna do that again today. We have on chapter 5. Yeah. We've got 5 more, and then we're gonna be working with Mona Stevens starting next month, where she's gonna come in and really teach out the curriculum over 4 separate dates. And so in talking with her last week, it looks like we're gonna adjust it back 1 week. She had something come up, so it won't be the 15th, it'll be the 22nd, if that is Tuesday, something like that. So anyways,
What, will you tell us what have you seen people are getting out of this so far?
yeah, Darren and I, our conversation went from last week's call to, the first thing he said to me today was, man, like, I got up and I did not hit the snooze button, right?
Just so difficult to do.
Yeah.
Trust me, I
Mark
know.
Mark and I talked last week off the call that I was going to let him know today. How did I do with talking about the affirmative language before I went to bed, so that I got up on time? And this is the weekdays I don't have a problem, it's the weekends. And I was telling Darren, I went after the gala, I got home, went to bed about 10:30, which is like 90 minutes later than I normally do. And I thought, this sucks. And so Saturday I woke up at 7, which is way late for me. Saturday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get up on time tomorrow because it's gonna be an awesome day and I'm gonna get all this stuff done. And I got up on my normal time. So there is applicable stuff.
When we were at the top 500 thing and O'Neill was talking, I thought of the Miracle Morning, because he said, they were so set in their ways that, brush your teeth, comb your hair, make your bed right.
Yep.
Go do your workout. I had 4 wins before I had breakfast. Miracle Morning is a way for you to start every day, having win after win after win after win before you even get in here. So you're on this roll, this momentum.
Lead with the mic drop. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
And if you haven't been involved in Miracle Morning, you can hop in.
Yeah, it's not a book that you have to start to finish. I mean, you can jump in at any point in time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for hosting that. All right, we're gonna watch a short video here about profit share.
We refer to profit share and growth share as passive income because once a productive agent names you as a sponsor, if they're in any profitable market center in the United States or Canada, you can receive a portion of that profit. Or if they are in any other country, you can receive a portion of the ongoing franchise royalties, which is automatically deposited into your account. You can sit on the beach and receive growth share and profit share. Now that's passive income. It sounds like fun, and it is fun, but there's a smart business principle behind it. Gary Keller explains that the systems are programs that allow associates to build a business inside a real estate company that is as powerful as if they owned the company themselves. This means that if you are a part of a market center's growth trajectory, you can be rewarded off of the success of the company. However, unlike owners, you don't need to invest any capital. Your opportunity is entirely passive. You have no financial risk, no legal risk, and no down payment. Why would a company do this? Because when someone names you as their sponsor, you've helped the company grow. And profit share and growth share are Keller Williams' way of thanking you. It's a win-win. And win-win is an integral business building block in our Keller Williams Realty system. The exchange of work for income is expected. Passive income has a different formula. Rather than exchanging labor for income, you rely on your vision. You think long-term. Plant a seed today. Give the other agent in one of your transactions a shift or an MREA book. And they may or may not join Keller Williams and name you as their sponsor tomorrow. But in time, the seeds you plant can grow into a profit share and growth share tree that provides you and your family with new opportunities and and security. The opportunity is unlimited and the potential immense. Associates who have made the decision to participate in the program have seen their lives changed forever. Profit share and growth share enable them to send their children to college, pay for medical bills, support their communities, provide financial relief to others in need, to travel, simply put, to live their lives the way they want to. And depending on the laws in your country, growth share and profit share can be willed to a beneficiary. This opportunity isn't for other people, it's for you and your family. You have the opportunity to collect passive income. It's a win-win.
So we wanted to show that before I brought up our growth committee chair, Sean. Will you come on up? We were. You're gonna have feature coming up too? So we put on the board, they put on the board, you can, what we made in profit share last year, what we gave out in profit share last year, which is $206,785. And these guys are gonna talk a little bit about how you can get your fair share of that in 2022.
Yeah, I think that video encapsulates everything that profit share is. It's truly passive income once you have somebody in what we call our downline. And it's simply just making that connection. So there's several ways to do it. Phoenix has been working really hard on newer agents, people just out of college or starting out of school. Now I'm focusing more along, cooperating agents, people I've done deals with. Actually just referred someone I worked with to Shauna yesterday. And it's just really about establishing a relationship. Certainly it's somebody you enjoy being in business with and having a transaction with. And I go, so Shauna, I had to look at the woman's name because it was such a smooth transaction. I don't think I talked to her more than once or twice. Got the offer, then she said, hey, we're to close. And can't wish they were all that easy, of course, but it's simply Matt, I like doing business with her, and we did talk 2 more times of that. My point being is it was a nice, smooth transaction. Don't we want more of those people here? Whether she comes or not, that's yet to be seen. The idea, though, is we don't have 401ks or IRAs. Certainly if you're running a business and all that, you can set something up like that, but we don't have retirement plans. So what's a way that once we're done selling real estate, whenever that is, whatever that is for you, how can we still continue to make money? I saw there were 3 names on there, Boyd, Lee, and Tamara, who were the 100% club. And Tamara, what exactly does that mean?
Oh, well, it means that the profit share that I receive each year meets or exceeds the cap. So my profit share is about 18,000 each year.
So Keller Williams
For
is
this last year, but it hasn't been 10 years.
Yeah, so Keller Williams is essentially paying you to be an agent.
Yeah,
here,
exactly,
To
yeah.
pass an income that she's not doing anything to go out and earn. She's already done the legwork, referred people over and all that sort of stuff. So really, my goal is to help people bring 1 person into their downline this year. If you already have 15 people, great. If you don't have any, let's just bring 1. It's really, really simple. So I'll be teaching a class in March. I don't know if we've set a date yet, but it's going to be really towards the end of March. And I'll do that a couple times throughout the year. And it's based off of Linda McKissick, who has made over $13 million in her career. And her career hasn't been all that long. She didn't get into real estate until after several of her businesses earlier in life. So she's made $13 million in passive income. And that's obviously a truly life-changing amount. Do we all aspire to that? Great. If not, we can just make a few $100 here and there, a few thousand. That adds up over time, with the effect of compound interest. So I'll be teaching that class several times throughout the year. And then if you have any questions like, hey, what can I do today? So you don't have to wait till March to have that conversation with a cooperating agent or somebody that might be interested in joining real estate. Just come knock on my door, start over here, happy to have that conversation with you.
I love in the video that it's just so simply, if you work with a great agent on the other side, give them a book.
Yeah.
I'll give them a call and thank them for being professional and great to be in business with.
Yeah, invite them to one of the classes that we teach, anything like that, something that provides value, so it doesn't come off as multi-level marketing or recruitment, because it's truly not. Once you really understand that profit share truly is helping Keller Williams bring in better agents, more agents that you want to do business with, you can really see that it has a lot of lot of good effects. So.
You can change their lives
Yeah.
and then bring talent here to the Market Center. Phoenix, you have brought a few people over,
Yeah, I have.
just talking about how great the office is, right?
Yeah, I mean, like how many of us have bought a new car thinking that we were super cool and then realized that we drive the same car as everybody else, right? You start to see that more, right? So I think it's like the same as getting a real estate license. Like the moment that I got my real estate license, it felt like all these people in my sphere, you know, kind of wanted to have similar opportunities. And that's where I come in from the recruiting side. Is for me, it's really not even about profit share. It's an opportunity to bring people into an office where I've been able to succeed and grow my business, and I want to provide the same thing for them. So that's kind of why I focus on the new agent thing, is because I think it's, you know, they need to align themselves with an awesome office who can help them grow like you guys have helped me. So, you know, yeah, thank you, Shane. Shane and Hannah, they did it all. They did it all. So,
Oh,
but-
I love that.
so, yeah.
Well, thank you. We wanted to touch on profit share and appreciate all you're doing for us this year. We got big goals.
We do.
But I also love a simple goal. One more.
Yeah.
Is to your downline is so easy. We're gonna help people do that.
How many people in here have somebody in their downline? And how many of you don't? And who wants to add a new one?
I do.
Everybody, right? So, yeah, I mean, definitely, like, if you don't have somebody in your downline yet, and you do know somebody that's looking to get in real estate, your first conversations with Coach Dave, Shauna, Sean, Broker Dave, like, there's tons of resources here, so feel free to reach out and let us know how we can help you.
I think Coach Dave has a.
Hey, Sean, what are the 3 R's in this process? Can you remind us?
Why would you ask? This is the one we always. Recruit.
No.
Relationships.
Refer.
Recruit. Your part as an agent looking to build your downline is build a relationship.
Yeah.
And then give that referral to Shauna or myself.
And the
And
great,
then we'll do the recruiting.
and the great thing is, it doesn't have to be somebody specifically to this office. I met somebody while I was on vacation in Mexico, struck up a conversation, and he'll be joining us at family reunion in Orlando, and is joining probably next month. And so, you know, it can truly be, like the video says, really anywhere in the world. So if you have somebody in North Carolina, and they're thinking of getting, you know, find that profitable market center in Raleigh or Charlotte or wherever, and make a connection to the team leader there. It doesn't have to be just here locally.
I'm just a perfect example, and I just wanted to share my experience super fast because this isn't my show, but having literally just joined and talking to multiple brokerages, I just want you guys to know, and I think you already know, but the value of what this market center has itself. I talked to probably 30 different brokerages, and none of them had the right focus and vibe for me until I came and met you guys here and talked to Shauna, and just, I mean, night and day difference. So know that you really do have that from a personal experience. Yeah. Yeah, which is good, but
So share it.
speaking, you do have it from experience, and this is why I joined. So thank you.
Thank you for that testimonial. I love it. And I think, I know Lee always had a goal around what profit share was going to accomplish. Right, Lee, what you're going to do with profit share, which I think makes it much more meaningful.
Yeah, mine is already set up in my trust so that will do continuing education for all my grandchildren, great grandchildren and futures. It's moving forward. But the thing I always am amazed at is as you talk about going to 30 other brokerages and meeting with them, there isn't another brokerage out there that says, hey, they're going to take 48% of everyone's profits and give it back to our agents. That's what they do. Every market center in the world is take 48% of the monthly profit and share it back as a thank you to the agents we have described.
And the great thing
I
about.
like being able to pick who I'm in business with. I like
Absolutely.
it.
Well said.
And I was gonna say, and the fact is, Keller Williams is an open book company. So you don't have to worry about us, you know, cooking our books or being misleading with our profit, you know. Just ask, and we can show you what our financials are. So.
And that's like 97%, that's like 97% of all the market centers in the world are profitable.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other business model where 97% of all their offices are profitable.
Well, not only that, but I won't say any names, but some of our other competitors have tried to take a spin on our model and instead give some stock options. Well, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but several of those companies have lost huge percentage of their value just in the last couple of weeks in the stock, that's how they reward their agents. Well, now those agents have almost nothing. And we don't depend on that.
No, we don't. I love it. Thank you. And thank you guys for all you're doing, and we'll hear more from you on Friday. Thank you. Great job. So today we're hearing from two of our ALC chairs. So Mark, you are the productivity chair.
Right.
And I'm super excited about this committee. A big part of culture is driving production. So this is the first time we've had productivity as a ALC chair, as ALC committee. I mentioned in bucket filling that you always seem to, I think you almost hear when I have like a horrible conversation or something.
Shauna deals with the crap of the brokerage, I swear. So she always has a smile on her face, so I appreciate that.
What you and I have in common is optimism and also sarcasm. Is that fair to say?
I agree. Nice as well.
That's our coping. Yeah, two ways we cope. First of all, how long have you been in real estate?
Just over 3 years.
You started here.
Started here, yeah, only brokerage. So came in that, you talk about, I interviewed other companies, and when I came here, Shauna was the most transparent and most upfront. I was like, everybody else tried to hide stuff like fees and stuff like that. Shauna was like, this is what it is. I was like, this is where I'm coming right here. So yeah.
When you're always so positive when I have recruits, this is the place.
She
You're
paid
kind
me
of
to
a
do that,
stop
so
for
she
me.
paid me. So.
What'd you do before real estate?
I did in-home sales for construction, so plumbing, heating, air, solar, roofing, stuff like that.
You pretty much sold everything.
Pretty much, yeah. Sold the house, yeah, other than the house.
Now you
sold the house.
sell yourself. What would you say? I always say everyone brings a skill set from whatever it is they did prior to real estate. I was in the service industry, so I felt like I was bringing customer service and I created loyalty. Well, what would you say the skill set you brought to real estate?
When I was doing in-home sales, I was basically a consultant. So that's how I treated my clients, my customers. And nobody likes to buy, or get sold, but they like to buy. So, that's, if you're just the consultant, I'm not selling them. They're making decisions on what they want to buy. I'm just guiding them through that process. So same thing I do in
real estate. Yeah, the journey. So we talked a little bit about being prepared and not practicing. How important are scripts?
Yeah, that's why we're here, is because on the 16th at 10 o'clock, we're gonna have our first meeting for productivity, and it's gonna be on open houses. So we're gonna be talking about scripts, we're gonna be talking about objection handling, how to overcome some of the major ones, and how to really take leads and turn them into clients. So.
You and I had a discussion yesterday. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So we know how important opportunity is in this business, and you told me a story about walking into an open house.
Yeah. So I have these clients that we just went under contract yesterday. And so we're in Upper East Bench of Salt Lake. They live in Chicago, and I'm going to this open house doing videos to send to them, see if they want to make an offer. And I happen to hear, when I walk in, the realtor who's doing the open house is the listing agent. No sign in, no cards, no nothing. Just I can walk around, do whatever I want. And as I'm doing these videos, I can hear them talking to these clients, and they're like, well, we're not sure, at this open house, they're like, we're not sure if we want to sell our house, or we're looking, we live on Michigan Avenue. And we're not sure if we should sell or buy something else, or if we can find something else. And then he just lets them leave. And I'm like over there drooling, like I've worked open houses many, many times. When someone's talking about moving from their house and buying another house, especially in Michigan Avenue. I mean, we're upper 13 areas. That is a prime area. We all know that. And I asked him, like, dude, I can't believe that. What happened? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll just go look them up on something or another, get their information. I was like, well, crap, you're not getting anything. So to follow up, I told this to Sean. So then I was
You run out to their car?
No, but they have said kind of where they live out on Michigan. So then last week I took
Walk your
Dylan
dog down there.
and we went door knocking. Yeah, so that's what we did. I went door knocked their neighborhood trying to find them. I was like, dude, I mean, that's an easy deal for me, man. You know what I mean? So, yeah. No.
Not yet.
Not yet,
But door knocking was very successful, I will say that, so.
So, you and I were also talking about, I mean, I started my business doing open houses, and before I started doing them myself, I went around and went to open houses that were just being done on Saturday, Sunday. We watched how people were doing it, just to see who was doing it well and who was just sitting there doing it completely wrong. And you and I were talking yesterday about having a goal when you go, and you're gonna talk about this in your workshop, but just want a little snippet of what we can expect.
Well, I think it starts with mindset. We talk about that a lot here, but like when I would go to open house, and I'm doing open house, sometimes you're just like, just woke up, blah, 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 long day, whatever it is, and you're like, I gotta do an open house. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta do an open house. I'm gonna sit in a house for 2 freaking hours. This probably really is gonna take only 3 hours of my time, maybe 3.5 tops. And in that, people are gonna show up, they're gonna look at whatever it is that I'm sitting in, with the opportunity to, in our market, that's $12,000 to $15,000 for 2 to 3 hours of work. Why wouldn't you be excited about that? That's just and I think I'm gonna call the class on the 16th. I haven't put a name to it, but I think it's gonna be called How to Absolutely Fail and Do Everything Wrong, Still Show Up to an Open House and Convert leads. Because I really believe that, if you have a couple of really, and that's, I think, I've done open houses and I've done door knocking and I've sat at, home shows and been in people's houses. And, if you're in front of somebody, that's the best person in the world right there. You have the greatest opportunity in real estate. You have someone right in front of you who is absolutely interested in buying houses. I don't know where else you can get
Interest
that.
in real
Yeah.
estate, I wouldn't be there.
Yeah, that's right.
It's also the only time that really the public sees us working. When you think about it, they don't see everything that goes on behind.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
you can impress people and pick up business there. You're selling you, right?
That's right. That's right.
Also, we made a discussion about the energy around an open house where when people won't come in if there's nobody else there. So getting friends and family, you're gonna talk a little bit.
Yeah. Shauna mentioned that she used to have her family come over to open houses and just walk around. Because energy creates energy, right? And I was telling her a story, like I was at this open house one time and there was nobody coming. And there were some leaves on the walkway, so I just went to the garage and opened the room and started sweeping. And I probably had been sweeping 3 minutes. Somebody pulls up because activity breeds activity. So if you're at an open house and nothing's going on, you can go stand out there and pretend like you're taking videos or move your sign around, big ones around, and people will just pull over and just walk in, man. It's just, when I learned that when I was in the car business, like back when I was in college, we'd be sitting on the car and there'd be nobody there. And so me and my buddy would just go up there and open up the hood of the car. Oh, look, there's an order. Oh, yeah, hi, yeah, just make jokes. It was just an easy, it was almost fun. You know what I mean? So it was.
And we're talking about having fun.
Yeah, that's right.
I love that. So we're gonna get lots of tips and that class will be great. People will leave and excited about.
Yeah, my goal with the class, we talked about this, and I did this first because I think it's the one thing as a new agent or even an agent that you've been here for a long time. Maybe you're just looking to pick up more business. You have some goals and that might be to do open houses is to just, the big takeaways that are how to overcome objections. I look at them, that's what I label them as objection. You can label them however you want. But the number one, and by the raise of hands, has anybody heard I have an agent in an open house?
Oh, yeah.
And how many times have you been sitting in an open house and they've said that to you, and then they've said, you've been talking to them, and then it really comes out that really they don't have an agent, that they really just know somebody whose sister's brother's uncle's cousin lives in Utah County that happens to be a realtor, and they may have just been to talk with them, and now you pick them up as a client. And that happens all the time. So, what's the big takeaway? I mean, I think Lee shared a story about that one time, and I always remember that, is that these people had been talking, she'd been talking to them, and come to find out they didn't even have an agent. And the big takeaway I got from that isn't that buyers are liars. You may have heard that, or that they're misguiding you. It's a lack of communication. What we believe when we ask for what an agent, if they have an agent and what they think an agent is are two different things. So we have to ask different questions. That's what I think, so.
So would you say one of your big points that you're talking about here is if a buyer comes to an open house, oh yeah, we have an agent, to try to let them know that you're a better agent? Or
No, the question would be,
I would ask who their agent is.
I always ask who their agent is,
Yeah, I
and
think
if they can't name them, then
call it.
even if they have one that's not.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Elliot, the answer is most of the time with an agent, when they say, yeah, the buyer says, yeah, I've got an agent, we as agents back off.
Yeah.
So it's become a self-defense mechanism, and the agent knows that. Treat them as well as you would any other person coming in who doesn't have an agent. And how you talk to them, as Mark says, is gonna be different than how other people talk to them. And so most of the time, they turn around at the end of their time going through and they go, you know, I haven't signed anything. Or, you know, I don't really have an agent. Or the husband one time came over and said, we lied to you, we really don't have an agent. And Veronica likes you, and she makes the decisions, and I went, got it. So, we tend to be the ones that shut it down because of how they responded.
Yeah.
And if you don't go to Mark's class and don't learn how to respond correctly, you'll probably do what the average realtor does.
Well, and here's what I would say is that you're gonna get that, if you ask, do you have an agent? They're gonna say yes, 90% of the time. And some of it might be true, that is the reality. But instead of asking them, do you have an agent, why don't you ask, hey, how'd you find the open house? Hey, how are you finding properties right now? Hey, where are you looking? How long have you been in the process? You know, what steps are you on? Do you know, has anybody walked through the process of how to buy a house? Has anybody shown you laid out that process? No, well, you already know. You don't even need to bring up agent about it. And those are the things that's we're gonna be talking about in the class. Those will be the takeaways.
That's awesome. I had someone come through and I asked, are you working with an agent? And they said, we are. And I said, can I ask who your agent is? And they said, Josh Stern. And I said, Josh Stern is the second best agent I know. You always have to think you're number one.
I was just gonna say, your attitude when someone is denying you is so important, because if you're in an open house and you ask someone if they have an agent and then you just shut down when they say that they do, you confirm to them that you don't care about them. You don't care about their experience. You're there to get them as a client. And if you still care about them, like, obviously you don't step on anyone's toes, but you want to be as helpful as possible so that if they do want your listing, they know, oh, you know what, that agent, she is on top of it. And you're just laying the foundation for a smoother transaction. I just have to tell a story. I went and showed a client some model homes out in the country in Syracuse, where all the model homes are right now. And she showed up to a builder, and she's a longtime client, and she knows if she's there without me, you know, no guarantees. And they had a little sign that said, if you show up without your agent, they will not be compensated. And she, because she's a darling angel, called me and was like, Kristen, I'm looking at model houses and I am in Syracuse. It's like where I live now. So I was like, let me meet you there. And so we went together, and the agent at the open house was so salty and angry that she actually went and brought her agent, that my buyer was like, I don't want to work with them anyway, if that's how they're going to treat you. And I get it. Like, I get it. But it makes a difference to buyers. Even if you're not representing them, that does not mean you get a free pass on how you treat them. And other people watching who really don't have an agent will be like, you know what, that girl knows what she's talking about, and I have a question, so maybe I should go ask my question. That happens a lot.
It will just need it. I don't want to give away the whole class. I can see we're going to have a lot of people in your class and a lot of participation. Before you go, what book are you reading right now?
Miracle Morning right now. So yeah, it's been good. So
and lastly, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
That's
Or a good piece of advice you've been given?
Don't eat Yellowstone.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's saved me many times. Honestly. Yeah. No, I would say I thought about that, and there's so many little tidbits, and every one they're like, when people give me advice, I just think of them as like tools in my bag. They're not always going to be usable, but I can pull them out depending on where I'm at what I'm struggling with. And the one thing I always remember, especially I'll say this, just, was we're starting new and maybe is persistence. Nothing happens if you don't get out there and try. So, no matter how bad it is, you just, you fail, and then you just keep going, and then success will happen. That's the number one thing.
I love that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's bring up our IMAX. IMAX. Chad. Hey, Chad's here. I always love Chad being here because he has the best energy, and you're also a big part of the office.
my mask for a second?
Sure.
So bad for you guys, I look better with a mask on, that's the thing. I've always come here and done my presentation, but I thought I'd do something a little different today, and that is just give a huge thank you. You guys have been so supportive of us since we started, and I just wanted to let you know of our gratitude. And that was all today that I have, Shauna, that's it. Just thank you. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you all. Now you can skip
Yeah, you're awesome. Thank you also for being a sponsor at the awards gala Friday as well. Before we go to lunch, who has a want or a need?